Ethiopia and Egypt sent no agreement in most recent talks over the contentious dam on the Nile. And what does this mean? The two countries. What are the implications of this situation? Are there no external forces that are fueling this conflict? Now that the negotiations have not been fruitful, what next? Are the two countries going to use violence to get what they want? And if so, is it an amicable solution? I am fellow Nathan Tambi from Fenlina Management Consultants, the chief sponsor of this program. If you enjoy this video, kindly support our channel by subscribing, giving the video a like, and giving your comments. You mean a lot to us and we appreciate your time, participation, and contribution. Ethiopia and Egypt sent no agreement in most recent talks over the contentious dam on the Nile. And what does this mean? The two countries. What are the implications of this situation to the people of Egypt and Ethiopia? What are the implications of this situation to the neighboring countries like Sudan? What are the implications of this situation to the African continent? All these and many more questions need answers. The Great African Rennaissance Dam we are talking about is seen as a blessing, since it will lead to the eradication of poverty amongst the Ethiopian population through job creation, agriculture, industrialisation, to name but few. The same dam will supply electricity to neighbouring countries such as Kenya and Somalia. Both countries blame each other after the 3 days of discussions in Addis Ababa. Egypt's Ministry of Water Resources and Irrigation said the talks were unsuccessful due to Ethiopia's persistent refusal to accept any compromise. The Ethiopian Foreign Ministry accused Egypt of putting roadblocks in the discussions that prevented any consensus. Sudan was part of the negotiations. The countries have been trying to find an agreement for years over the $4 billion Grand Ethiopian Rennaissance Dam, which Ethiopia began building in 2011. The dam is on the Blue Nile, near the Sudan border, and Egypt has fears that it will have a devastating effect on its water and irrigation supply downstream unless Ethiopia takes its needs into account. The Blue Nile meets the White Nile in the Sudanese capital Khartoum and then flows onwards through Egypt. Egypt has referred to Ethiopia's dam as an existential threat, as the Arab world's most populous country relies almost entirely on the Nile to supply water for agriculture to more than 100 million people. Egypt is deeply concerned over how much water Ethiopia will release downstream from the dam and wants a deal to regulate that. Ethiopia is using the dam to generate electricity. Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi and Ethiopian President Abiy Ahmed resolved in July to come to an agreement on the dam within 4 months. Another round of talks between the three countries in September also ended acrimoniously. The dam began producing power last year, and Ethiopia said it had completed the final phase of filling the dam's reservoir in September. The project is expected to ultimately produce over 6,000 megawatts of electricity, which is double Ethiopia's current output and enough to make the East African nation of 120 million a net energy exporter. These are my concerns, which could be concerns of others as well. Are there no mutual benefits between the two countries emanating from the dam? Since the commencement of the construction, has Egypt been experiencing water shortages directly related to the construction of the dam? Is the presence of the dam not going to improve sustainable development in terms of climate change, such as drought, floods, and so on? Are there no external forces that are fueling this conflict? Now that the negotiations have not been fruitful, what next? Are the two countries going to use violence to get what they want? And if so, Is it an amicable solution? What was Sudan's position in the negotiations? Can someone tell us? As Africa, we need to understand that whatever affects our continent has a lot of implications to our continent's prosperity. It therefore means that we have to deal with our problems together through our economic blocs, and the African Union make decisions that lead to African success. To help address the ongoing dispute, MIT's Abdul Latif Jamil World Water and Food Security Laboratory convened a small invitation-only workshop of international experts last November to discuss the technical issues involved in the construction and operation of the dam, in hopes of providing an independent, impartial evaluation to aid in decision-making. The group's final report, which was shared with the three concerned governments in early February, was published on 22nd April 2015. More details will be communicated in due course. Do you think that the international expert intervention initiatives will resolve the conflict? Do you think the intervention of other African regional development communities and the African Union will influence the decisions of Ethiopia and Egypt regarding this conflict? The next video is about the impact of the interventions by the international experts in resolving this ongoing conflict. Kindly support our channel by subscribing, giving the video a like, and giving your comments. You mean a lot to us, and we appreciate your time, participation, and contribution. May God bless you.